The purpose of the wars of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was not to cause needless bloodshed. The Muslims of that time had been expelled from their ancestral homes. Many innocent Muslim men and women had been martyred, and still the wrongdoers were not prepared to restrain themselves and continuously obstructed the progress of Islam. In this context, the divine law of security made it necessary to protect the persecuted Muslims as they faced total annihilation. Those who had drawn the sword were opposed with the sword. The wars were meant to root out the mischief of those who were bent upon murder and were only meant to repel evil. If Islam had not taken the measures of self-defense, thousands of innocent women and children would have been slaughtered and Islam would have become non-existent. It is a great error on the part of the critics of Islam to think that guidance from God Almighty should not include resistance to the enemy in any circumstance, and should always teach love and mercy by way of meekness and gentleness. Such people imagine that they display great reverence for God, the Lord of honor and glory, by attributing to him only the qualities of gentleness and tenderness. But those who reflect and ponder can easily understand that this is a great error. God's laws definitely teach and are the embodiment of mercy. However, that mercy does not manifest itself by way of gentleness and tenderness in all circumstances. It is similar to the way a physician sometimes prescribes a sweet drink and at other times a bitter medicine for a patient. Divine mercy works in the same way. Take the example of the human body. There can be no doubt that each one of us loves his whole body, and if anyone wishes to pull out a single hair of ours, we would be enraged and irritated. Yet, despite the fact that the love that we bear towards our body is distributed over the whole of it, and all our limbs are dear to us, and we do not desire the loss or hurt of any one of them, it is clear that our love for every one of our limbs is not the same degree and quality. In fact, the love of our principal limbs, upon which largely depends the carrying out of our purposes, prevails over our hearts. In the same way, we have greater love for all of our limbs combined as opposed to any single limb. And if, God forbid, we are confronted with a terrible situation in which the life of a superior limb depends upon wounding or cutting off or breaking an inferior limb, we would give superiority to saving the more important limb. We are grieved at the loss of a limb which is dear to us, but we comfort ourselves as we have saved the more important limb. This should help us understand that when God sees that his righteous servants are in danger of being destroyed at the hands of evil opponents, which would in turn lead to great disorder, he intervenes with an appropriate manifestation of his powers, either from heaven or from earth, in order to provide protection to the righteous and to prevent evil and disorder from spreading. This is because he is Rahim, merciful, and Hakim, wise.